Welcome to Oil Boys Presents, the Offseason show. I'm Sly, your host, and joining me today is my good friend, Alec Baby. Give him a hand, everybody. Oh man, it's great to have you back on set today. We've been super excited the whole time, so.
Great to be back, Mr. Solution.
Oh, I love it. I say we get right into it. What do you think?
I think we give the people what they want.
All right, we'll give the people what they want. So, breaking news as of this week. Kenneth Walker signs a 3-year, $41 million deal with Kansas City. $14.5 million per year makes him the fourth highest paid RB. And there's another piece of breaking news from Reddit Dynasty FF Trade Advice, where Snatch and Dash is trying to snatch Kenneth Walker and dash. He's getting Walker, and he's giving Mac Jones, Zach Charbonnet, and a 27 first.
Well, there's a lot to unpack here, Sly. A lot of zeros on that contract with Walker, and obviously you're going to have a lot of Glazers out there. I'll be brief on Walker so we can get to the more exciting trade part, but when it comes to any skill position player on the Chiefs in the Mahomes era, not named Tyreek Hill and or Travis Kelce, I'm always skeptical. I know everybody, it's weird in your head to go, oh, there's a really good running back on the Chiefs. He's going to go off. But has that ever happened in the Mahomes era? Ever? I mean, I guess they've never had a running back as good as this, so maybe it can happen. But still, to this day, Mahomes has never created a 1,000-yard rushing player, nor has he created a 1,000-yard receiving player.
Wow. That is true, my good friend.
I think this is more of a lateral move for Kenneth Walker than your consensus out there. I think he's going to not be an elite RB1. I think he's going to be a stable RB2 for the Chiefs.
As he's always been for basically his whole career.
As he's always been. Now, regarding the trade, we have Walker just getting Walker, right?
And then, Snatch gets Walker, and he gives Mac Jones, Zach Charbonnet, and a 2027 first-round pick.
Snatch. Here's the thing is, Mac Jones is currently on the 49ers, and I think this trade is made in anticipation that he'll be a starter. If he's not, he's kind of useless in that. But the 49ers are kind of shy when it comes to trades. So he is true 50-50 whether he's going to be on the team or not. So this is very anticipatory. But he gets a third player, right?
He gets and a 2027 first. So Charbonnet, Jones, and a first.
Yeah, we can only assume that this first will be mid to late. I never like to assume future first will be high. So if it's a mid to late first and Charbonnet and Jones, I think the Charbonnet first and Jones side wins this one pretty easily. I just don't see the Chiefs building their offense around Kenneth Walker. Like I said, I know there's a lot of zeros in that contract, and they're definitely going to get him more involved than the Seahawks did, but let's be honest here. Mahomes has been the starting quarterback for, 8 years on this team and no 1,000-yard rusher? I mean, it's okay to be a little skeptical about that. I'm not going to crown Ken Walker as a top 5 running back just because he's wearing the old white and red all of a sudden. Like, who in the white and red has been relevant skill position-wise, like I said earlier? It's tough to trust. And I think Charbonnet is looking like he's the RB1 for Seattle for this year and probably the foreseeable future, because they'll get him on a cheap contract if they re-sign him after this year. Mac Jones, let's just say he goes to the Vikings. That side easily wins. So I wouldn't give the house for Ken Walker whatsoever. I think where his value at is I wouldn't give anything more than, let's just say, the 4th overall pick this year for him. Maybe the third in a player. But he's being overhyped right now, and you're paying way too much for the hype when the Chiefs just don't churn out elite players like that anymore.
Well, you hear it here, folks. Kenneth Walker being called overhyped by the baby. And if you're smart, you should listen to the baby on this one. Now, next up, A lesser talked about one, but one that has a lot of implications. Malik Willis finally gets his chance. Should I note, too, the same draft class as Kenny Pickett, and he will be a starter and Kenny Pickett will not, which is just hilarious. I should have known back then. But Malik Willis is getting a shot in Miami. What does this do for the important Miami skill players, i.e. De'Von Achane and Jaylen Waddle? Does this help them or hurt them compared to where they've been?
I think that Mike McDaniel will make more of an impact than Malik Willis coming in. I wouldn't look at a repeat for Achane. I think Jaylen Waddle will be a little better just because Tyreek Hill's not on the roster. They could look to add another receiver. But Malik Willis, as far as boosting his fellow skill position players, not at all. I don't think there's going to be a boost. In fact, I think it's going to be kind of on the decline because he's a run-first quarterback. How many times do I have to say, guys, run-first quarterbacks do not win fantasy football championships. They might win you a game, but they're not going to win. And I mean that for the owner of the QB and the weapons. When's the last time Lamar Jackson's produced anybody relevant? And don't you dare say Zay Flowers. Don't you dare. He is bad, and you know it. You know it, whoever owns him. So don't say that. Like in Justin Fields. Remember everybody was glazing Fields last year? Are you kidding me? We're glazing. Malik Willis to the Dolphins is very reminiscent of Fields to the Jets.
For everyone to remember, Justin Fields was a 7th-round redraft pick, 7 through 9 redraft pick last year, so everybody wants to forget they loved him, but they did.
Rushing QBs, don't trust them, never will. I think Jaylen Waddle's value goes down slightly. I don't think it could get worse than last year's clown cars of QBs. And then Achane, I just don't know what the new offensive system's going to look like. They may prefer to keep him just in on third downs and explosive type plays when they need him and get Jalen Wright and Ollie Gordon a little bit more involved. That could be an ugly timeshare for all we know. We just don't know, right? They're trying to make it Packers 2.0 down there. I'm going to say no on all of that. No, I'm staying away from the Dolphins this year, and I think you should too. Jaylen Waddle will probably be a steal in redraft, but in Dynasty, you might as well hold him because nobody's really going to give you anything for him either now that Willis is the QB1.
So we've got Miami stay away, which I couldn't agree with more. Don't want anything to do with South Beach whatsoever. Wise words from my guest here. Next up, probably the biggest surprise of the offseason so far, Alec Pierce, out of seemingly nowhere, gets 4 years, $118 million, $28.5 per year, making him the 11th highest paid receiver in the entire NFL. Alec Pierce. Now, are you one of those rare believers, or when you think the stock is going up on Pierce, or is this just going to be, are we looking for the bubble to pop proverbially here with the Alec Pierce?
I mean, the biggest news with Alec Pierce is that Michael Pittman's gone. So I guess in theory he's the number one receiver. That's the good news. The bad news is he just isn't very good. Anyone in today's NFL can get 1,000 yards. Anyone can. And he got it off of catching 4 or 5 balls a game. He's a good situational deep threat. So no, I'm not buying the Alec Pierce thing. I think his ceiling is last year. I think his average career year will just be another 600-700 yard season. And I say that because he did that the 2 years before last year. Last year was like kind of a fluke, and fluke seasons happen. So no, Alec Pierce when it comes to Dynasty is kind of valueless to me. Maybe he's a decent depth piece, I guess. But look for Josh Downs and Tyler Warren to kind of take more of Michael Pittman's production than Alec Pierce, honestly.
I like it. So, mega overpay for Alec Pierce.
Such an overpay, and no wonder any other team wasn't serious about bringing him in. He's a role player. You don't give role players high-end wide receiver 2 money. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I heard rumors he was going to get over 25, and I just couldn't believe it, but those rumors came true, which is remarkable. But, yeah, folks, stay away from Alec Pierce. The hype is far, far, far too high. Now, we're going to bring maybe a bit of a downer side from as far as you're concerned here. And last week, Stefon Diggs was released, but last year wasn't too bad, but you had this take on him.
Coming off a torn ACL, over 30 years old, hasn't really had a great season for nearly 3 years. I've yet to see a starting 32-year-old washed receiver on his fourth team be in the starting lineup for a championship team in any format.
Not great, but everybody's favorite segment. Are you doubling down, or are you going to take that take back?
I did say that he was very washed last year and that he'd get under 500 yards. I was wrong. But you know what? I'm going to double down. This is the year he gets under 500 yards. This is it. I don't know if a team is even desperate enough to sign him because he's a locker room cancer. He barely got 1,000 yards with an MVP candidate. Next team he goes to will not be an MVP candidate, more than likely. His career is over. It's done. Drop him in fantasy, drop him in Dynasty. Your open bench spot is worth more than him. Even if you've got 10 bench spots in your league or 20 bench spots, that's more valuable than carrying that guy around. He was the guy last year in fantasy that where you needed him the most, he vanished. And then when you didn't play him, that's when he'd get a magical 80 yards in a touchdown game. He still wasn't great last year, so I don't really regret being wrong. So I'm going to triple down on that. He's over. It's done. The Patriots released him, not because of contract, not because of age, because he's not very good. And that's all it is. And I don't think anybody else will. It'll be the veteran minimum, and he'll get like 400 yards if he's healthy, which he probably won't be. I'm doubling down. It's over. It's done.
Well, here on Oil Boys Presents the Offseason, so we love doubling down. So I'm glad you did it. I'm glad you doubled down. Don't listen to the haters on Stefon. Next up, a friend of the show, Travis Etienne, gets paid by the Saints pretty darn well. $52 million for 4 years. He's going to be their guy for the foreseeable future. What does this do to him in your rankings? Are you moving him up, down, or is he kind of the same?
I would say that Travis Etienne on the Saints, coming from the Jaguars, I think he's going to be finishing similar. I believe last year he was barely out of the top 10 in running backs and total points. And I think it could be similar this year. Now, I'm not a Tyler Show believer, so if anything were to derail him, it would be quarterback play. But I am a Kellen Moore believer. And I do think Kellen Moore can get the most out of his average quarterback play, if it is even average. I mean, he made Juwan Johnson and Chris Olave relevant last year, which was a stark contrast from their first couple of years with the Saints. So I believe he can absolutely maintain Etienne's value for another year or two until the wheels start to come off. And there's no real threat behind him either. Kendry Miller, really? Are we still believing in it? Devin Neal, who didn't do it? Audric Estime is not on the team anymore. And Kamara's as good as gone. So I really actually like Travis Etienne as like a stopgap high-end RB2, low-end RB1 if you're looking to compete this year. And whoever has him might even trade him to you for cheaper than your typical RB1/2, just because the Saints aren't really a sexy name being thrown out right now. And I'm a Travis Etienne for 2026 believer. I think he's going to fill an important hole on your roster if you need an RB and are trying to compete.
The Oil Boy loves Etienne, and I cannot blame him. Now, for the last and final segment, we're doing Oil Boys Trade Review. We're going to go through some of the hottest trades of this offseason, and you're going to review them and tell me who won. And I'm not taking ties, so you've got to pick a side.
Okay, let's see how this goes.
And we're starting with probably the most fantasy relevant one. DJ Moore to the Bills. Bills get Moore in a fifth, and the Bears get a second. Who won?
That one's actually really close. I would say the Bills won just because their need for wide receiver was absolutely dire, and they did not have to give up a first to get one. In fact, the second that they gave is a late second as well. So if it was like a high second, I probably would lean more towards the Bears, but it's a late second. So I think the Bills win that one.
All right, next up, Michael Pittman to the Steelers for a late round pick swap. Who wins?
The Steelers, of course, win that one. They get a starting wide receiver for virtually nothing. And the only reason why the Colts traded him is because he didn't want to not be the number one, and the Colts re-signed Alec Pierce. So it was one of those trade or release type of things. Yeah, the Steelers win that.
Colts get something for him, but pretty much dirt, but they're going to have to release him if they don't. Yeah. Next up, defensive side of the ball. Trent McDuffie to the Rams. Rams get McDuffie. Chiefs get a whopping 1st, 5th, 6th, and 2027 third-round pick. Who won?
The Rams win that trade, and it's because Stafford's on his last legs. They're trying to win it all this year. This year, they're putting all their chips in, and last year, the glaring hole was their secondary. I love it for the Rams. I think this is excellent for them, and the Chiefs get quite a bit out of it, but the Rams, it's this year or bust, and I absolutely respect what they're trying to do. I think the Rams win.
Couldn't agree more. Plus the second DB they signed also. Now they got a great back end for Stafford's last ride. Thank you for playing Oil Boys Trade Review, Alec Baby, and thank you for coming on to the show. Appreciate it so much.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
And that'll do it for Oil Boys Presents, the Offseason Show. Thank you, and see you again next time.